Hello everyone, this is Gorax, and today I want to tell you which two teams you should fight in the Continental Challenge on the first week. On the test server, we hit the second week, and as you can see, now we have 4 tries, but during your first week, you only have 2. So hopefully this video will be useful to free-to-play players as well as spenders, as I'll go over each boss strengths and weaknesses and tell you which teams should help you score the highest points. As you can see on the test server, we have few people who want to try it. Some are trying it with Inspiration 5 heroes, and there are people like me who don't inspire their heroes and are looking to deal damage with whatever is possible without upgrading the equipment or with not maxed out Psychic Core. So, if you watched my channel in the previous 2-3 weeks, you noticed how many guides I have released for the Continental Challenge bosses. I did include both free-to-play friendly and the OP strategies. Not all of the OP strategies, as after all of I covered, there were few OP strategies that arised, so I will not mention them in this video. However, I'll mention that there is a better way of dealing damage. So first, let's talk about what 2 teams I believe the spenders or whales should focus on. The first team I would say is Vaska. Vaska is a boss that spawns a lot of minions but deals a lot of damage to us as well. There are ways to mitigate that, and you could see me using Thorin and Fia to reduce the amount of healing he gets and also put invisibility on our team that will help us survive. Now this team is doing a lot of damage, as this team can do over 300 million damage if you put resources in it, because as you can see, I don't upgrade my equipment. My equipment doesn't have any temper or extra elemental stuff, so you can make this team even stronger. Now, there is a better strategy for it. I will release the strategy for it after the 16th of August, but I can give you a hint that the weakness that he applies cannot be dispelled, but it can be moved. Not sure if that's a bug. I would consider it a bug, but people have been using this strategy and it doesn't require Fia. You use something else to avoid the weakness. Also, keep in mind that currently Lelvanis does not suffer from the attack penalty. This is a bug and this will be fixed, but it hasn't been fixed yet, so you might use this damage team as that's what people have been using. So that's the first team of spenders I would do. Now, spenders have the luxury, or even veteran free-to-play players, they have the luxury of choosing the second team. If you follow my guides and got Flora, Vinyara is the second best option. On the Vinyara, you can do a lot of damage using the 4 legendary damage dealers that you should have if you've been a veteran or a spender. Even Flora without her artifact is doing solid damage. Now, the only hero that you might not get is Crisis. Yes, Crisis is the best in slot hero for this. However, there are other things people are abusing, such as Brook and even Jorn. So for those of you who don't know, you can filter and you can look for a shield removal or buff prohibition, buff removal as well. So if we look at Dispel Shield, you can see that Brook is here. He will dispel the shield, which means the boss will not get that extra damage reduction. So that's your replacement, but those 4 heroes are mandatory to deal damage. Now, I showed you the strategy where we were building everyone with damage and using Flora just before the 200 million mark is hit, so we avoid this 90% damage reduction. There is a better and easier strategy to deal it, and there are people who can even do over 300 million with this team. So definitely the second best option for the spenders. When it comes to the third option, there are few. So you could run Dauntless team here. The Dauntless team that I created for Crisis is doing around 220 million but very stable, okay? So way less damage than your wild team against Vinyara, but this team against Crisis is doing good work. Sadly, I don't think there's a stronger option than that, and as you can see, it does fall compared to Vinyara's team. So this is like the third best option. However, I'm surprised by the amount of damage you can deal with Poison Team, who can be your third option. If you have Lothier and his exclusive artifact, and if you watched my video, you can even see that Lothier exclusive artifact is not necessary, as if I put on him this artifact, he's doing 4 million less damage, which is still more than my Dauntless team. So yeah, if you have Lothier, then you might move Dauntless team to next week, because this is a really good option for you. And sadly, I would say Philander. I would not do Philander this week if you used summons on Vaska. While you can do 200 million with both Flora and Nastienka, I would highly suggest using them against the other bosses and treat Philander as the last one, unless you can pull a team of summons that can do 300 million, then yes, be my guess. But for the time being, Vaska is definitely the best one to deal damage with the summon heroes due to how Lilvanis works currently with this bug of attack penalty not affecting her. So yeah, the two bosses I would suggest to not even consider is Philander and Twitch. Yeah, so Twitch, this is the boss that you fight with Rally Team and is terrible, and I confused that with Tamar. Tamar is a valid option. Tamar is a valid option. So let's summarize it to make it easier. Vaska and Vinyara will be the first two bosses that most spenders will tackle. If you don't have good Flora team, then you might consider using a Poison team with Lothier or Nastienka team against Crisis. Skip this boss, as the summon team you will use will perform well better on Vaska. Now, for the free-to-play players, the story is very similar. There are a few changes. So if we look at the Vaska team, Vaska free-to-play teams that we can build, there is an issue. If you don't have Lilvanis, your damage will be so much lower. I believe with the best summon team I built against Vaska, we were doing 50-60 million because it's mostly single target. For Vaska, you would bring Frost Team. Frost Team can do 100 million without Vitar. You can build a Frost Team that can do 100 million without Vitar. However, Philander without Lilvanis, you can build a team for Philander with summons that can deal 50 million damage. So that's not too bad. If you can pull a wild team with Flora, you will do around 95 million against Vinyara. Without Flora, you'll be looking at 50-40 million, okay? And same here, Dauntless team with Nastienka, even with Nastienka, is doing only 53 million. So that will be hard to pull off because we don't really have good free-to-play epic damage dealers. But if you have Farivol, Ivelios, this damage will skyrocket. So something to consider depending on your builds. When it comes to the poison, if you pull the Lothier without the exclusive artifact, but you have this other artifact that Twitch is using here, the statue, you will do more than 102 million. This team with Lothier as free-to-play can get 200 million damage. If you have Lothier. Without Lothier, don't even think about doing this, as you will need to build Twitch and you'll need to bring other legendary heroes to deal damage with, okay? So yes, Lothier, I believe Lothier is the strongest exclusive hero without exclusive artifact, because you can even use free-to-play artifacts. You don't need the statue. Flora is working similar, but for Flora you need the fun to really do damage. And as you can see, these free-to-play friendly teams, they don't use a single mythic artifact. You should have a ton of them. Well, not ton, but 3 mandatory artifacts anyway, so that damage will skyrocket. Plus you'll have some legendary heroes you can use. I just didn't want to use them because you can use yours as a replacement instead of me using the best free-to-play legendary team and then telling you what replacements to use. In other teams, I would skip them. So let's make a summary for free-to-play players as well. So the teams that you can do the most damage, depending if you have the exclusive hero and not the exclusive hero, and we're obviously taking into consideration no mythic artifacts, but you can improve all of the damage. So as I said, I believe the poison team against Tamer can do really well if you have, once again, low fear. If you have low fear, yes, be my guest, do this. Low fear doesn't need artifacts to do over 100 million. You can use Frost team as a second team and deal damage against Vasca, unless you have Lelvanis. And remember, there's a lot of free-to-play players who pulled for Lelvanis on the first banner. So if you have Lelvanis, those two heroes are your obvious choice. The other heroes, they depend if you have Flora or if you have Nastienka. Even having Nastienka against Crisis is quite hard to achieve. So I would say she's your third pick, basically. If you can't pull those two off, skip this. I believe Twitch will be the boss where everyone will do the lowest damage, unless there's a strategy with Rally team that I have not figured out yet, because I didn't really test it yet. Philander is a good choice for those of you who don't have Lelvanis but have a strong summon team. This team will do around 80 million damage. So definitely, if you have Lothier, Tamer, if you have Lelvanis, Vasca, if you don't have any of those, then Frost team against Vasca, as they deal a lot of AoE damage, and you might consider free-to-play Vinyara team or free-to-play Salmon team against Philander, and those two will give you high rankings. Once again, remember guys, it all depends on what is available to you, but remember, I have a spreadsheet where I go over the teams. I'll try to update that spreadsheet when I'm back from my short 3-day holiday, and also jump into my live streams where I can help you. Remember, I can provide you with coaching, I can help you build your teams. Jump onto my Discord or send me a private message if you want more coaching, and I can help you dish out as much damage as possible. Have a look at your arc and guide you a little bit there. Obviously, I will not do everything for you, but I can just be a guidance, a helper for you to achieve higher rankings. And if you feel like you're a whale, you have everything you want, but you're not quite there compared to competition, reach out to me. We can sort something out and I can help you out as well. And as always, remember to subscribe to my channel, like this video so others can see before they make any mistakes, and save too early. I know some people did that and saved their scores on day one. That should never happen, and obviously those people will learn from their mistakes. And once again, thank you all for watching. Stay safe. Bye.